Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tyler and I just do consistent content on all things related hockey in the NHL overall. And the Columbus Blue Jackets did it. They defeated the Toronto Maple Leafs in that best of 5 qualifying round series. 5 games in doing so. So they went to a game 5. We're the only series in this qualifying round to reach a game 5, might I add. And what a series it was. From the game 4 with the Columbus losing that game in dramatic fashion, blowing that 3-goal lead in 4 minutes, in the last 4 minutes of the game, with Austin Matthews winning it in overtime, thinking that Toronto would have momentum going into this game 5. No, that was not the case. So that's what I'll be discussing with you today. A summary of this series, my thoughts on this series, and what is next in store for these two teams going forward in the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Toronto Maple Leafs. But if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you end up enjoying this kind of hockey content, I'm so close to 300 subscribers, so any level would really be appreciated. Trust me, this is only the beginning of a lot of amazing and great things that happen on this channel. But without further ado, let's get right into this video. Wow. What a series this was. Going into this series, many people thought the Toronto Maple Leafs were easily going to blow past the Columbus Blue Jackets, as Columbus has had the 29th ranked offense in this past season versus Toronto's 5th ranked offense. But then obviously things are quite opposite when it comes to defense. Columbus a top 3 defensive team in the league, while Toronto's a complete opposite. So it was defense versus offense in this, and like many of the other series that we've seen in this qualifying round, defense has prevailed. Columbus has won this series in quite impressive fashion, might I add, shutting out Toronto in this game 5 in their hometown, in their city of Toronto, kicking them out of this bubble already. And it's quite interesting how we've seen in this qualifying round how both the Maple Leafs and the Edmonton Oilers got kicked out of their home arenas in these hubs between Toronto and Edmonton. It is quite bizarre, but we are living in a bizarre world right now with everything going on, with everything so unprecedented. No one expected so many of these series to pan out the way they had, and plenty didn't expect Toronto to lose this series. And honestly, for me personally, if you see my predictions, I had Toronto winning in 5, but I said it would be such a close series. It would not surprise me at all to see Columbus win this series, given how great their defense is. And I thought that if Elvis Merzlikins was in net, especially, they would have the upper hand. But even with Elvis in net, they honestly weren't in better shape. In that first game when Elvis came in, I believe it was game 2 or game 3, when he came in after Korpisalo gave up a couple goals early. Elvis played great, didn't give up 1 goal. But then in the second game, of course, in game 4, Elvis was playing, and he looked really strong until that last 4 minutes. And then ultimately, Toronto won 4-3 in overtime. And I believe Elvis was tweaked. He got hurt after that game, which is what led Korpisalo to come back in. But what a job Korpisalo has done for this Columbus Blue Jackets team. You know, he had kind of an up and down year at times, especially dealing with his injuries. Elvis comes in, plays great, 5 shutouts in the regular season. You think he'd be the lock at number 1, but no, Corpy still gets the number 1. He becomes a starter. First game, he has a shutout. Columbus wins 3-0, I believe, and then they win 3-0 in dramatic fashion in this game 5. What a great series for the goaltenders especially, and hats off to Freddie Anderson too for the Toronto Maple Leafs, because he looked really strong as well. Averaged less than 2.00 goals allowed per game, had a strong save percentage. Really was a big factor in why Toronto was even remotely in this series at times, because while Toronto was getting plenty of shots on, it's quality over quantity in this situation, and Columbus had plenty of quality shots. And you look at Korpisalo, he made some huge saves in this game 5 and in the series when he had to, and regardless of him being in and out of the lineup between him and Merzlikins, that didn't faze him. John Tortorella, the head coach for the Columbus Blue Jackets, is really rallying this team together, making them all buy in as they normally do. You know, we all know what it's like for him when they lose a game, between him having his fair share of words with Pierre-Luc Dubois and him having a hattie, or critiquing any other players. They always step up to the plate for him, and I think that's great for them going forward. But look, Columbus is such a pesky team. I've discussed this from last year, how they did fantastic, had a surprising playoff run, sweeping the Tampa Bay Lightning, and then this year beating the Toronto Maple Leafs. Were expected to have a possible deep playoff run, not just playing in Toronto, but going up against a team with a complete opposite offense as them. You know, you look at that Toronto top line, just those 3 players alone, I believe, average over 30 mil in cap space. And then you have the 11 players that were playing in game 5 when it comes to the forwards, averaging 34 mil, totaling 34 mil in their cap space. So it's ridiculous how, while these players are great from Toronto, don't get me wrong, they are, it's just an insane stat to look at, knowing how Columbus is able to rally around each other with so many of these guys and not expecting much, or really didn't have much to prove going into this year as they were rookies, or just cracked the lineup due to injuries, whatever it may be. They have been fantastic. But getting into this series more, Columbus outscored the Toronto Maple Leafs 12 goals to 10. Talk about offense. Toronto prevailed here, and yes, their defense definitely won in part with it, but wow, like, they outscored Toronto in this series. It is quite fascinating. But then you get into the scores for the Leafs especially. Austin Matthews looked very strong in this series, had 6 points, but only 2 goals, which makes you a little worrisome, knowing that he wasn't able to put up any more goals in those 5 games, and he was the goal leader, tied with a couple other guys for the Leafs. But then, yeah, Willie Nylander had 4 points in the series, looked strong at times. Mitch Marner had 4 points, would expect some more out of him going forward, me personally. But then when you get to, of course, the Columbus Blue Jackets, Cam Atkinson, who a lot of Leafs fans view as a Leafs killer. He kills a lot of teams. As a Rangers fan, I can tell you personally too, Atkinson really does great against a lot of teams in that Eastern Conference for sure. He had 5 points leading the way. Then Pierre-Luc Dubois, the man with the hattie, the man coming out of nowhere really after his head coach John Tortorella gave him quite the earful a couple games ago. He comes back the next game and has a hat trick in dramatic fashion with an OT winner against that Toronto Maple Leafs team in Game 3. Quite the story there. But Dubois had 4 points in the series. Nick Foligno, the captain, had 3 points, looking strong at times. And David Savard, the defenseman, had 3 points. And then you had other guys, plenty of defensemen getting in the goal scoring here, whether it be Seth Jones as well or Zach Werenski with 20 goals on the season. And he had the first goal, I believe, in the game last night in Game 5. So crazy stats there. But then you look at Elvis Merzlikins and Korpisalo. Korpisalo had 2 shutouts in this series, a goals allowed average of 1.45, and a save percentage of .956. So while that defense definitely was a help, he played on his head. He had 30-plus saves in his shutout yesterday, looking amazing. And then Elvis Merzlikins looked strong as well, averaged just below 2 goals per game at 1.96, and had a save percentage of .946. So this tandem looks steadily. It very well could be a huge X factor in going to the playoffs for the Columbus Blue Jackets going forward. And now they're going to be facing off against the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is going to be a huge series. You know, I want to see how Columbus does. I think they will have a strong chance again, but this is a completely different team versus this Tampa team. And I don't know the situation when it comes to Victor Hedman. I know he got hurt. So let me know in the comments below if you know the update on him, if it is long-term, if it is short-term, because I haven't been able to see the updates. But regardless, Tampa Bay, with this huge chip on their shoulder now, getting blown out water by the Columbus Blue Jackets last year when Tampa was the best team in the regular season. Nikita Kucherov had a historic season with, I believe, 120 points, was it last year? Ridiculous. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there, but that is going to be such a fun series. So we're going to have that to look forward to starting off tomorrow, where we have a bunch of playoff games for the first round going on. So hyped for it. But then you have the Toronto Maple Leafs sent home packing. Not sure how far they're going to have to go, depending on if they are still going to be living in Toronto or, you know, going back to their home states or, you know, countries, whatever it may be. But this is just so bizarre, as I mentioned, seeing Toronto Maple Leafs being sent out of their bubble. I'm sorry, Leafs fans. I know you're upset about this. I know you probably want things done. A lot of controversy going on between Kyle Dubas and this team. What does the future hold for him? I'm not sure. I really think that something needs to get changed. Going into this year with all the up and down roller coaster type season they had, I thought Toronto wasn't going to have a deep playoff run. I thought they would make the playoffs, but I didn't think they would have a deep playoff run because that roller coaster things have been between, of course, just firing their former head coach and bringing in Sheldon Keefe. You know, it is what it is at the end of the day. Leafs fans, I know you're grieving. I understand you. I know your frustration. Trust me, I do understand that plenty. But look, at the end of the day, you still have a great core group. You need to get some help on that defense. I've been saying this for so long. Not to shot at Tyson Barrie, but going back to that trade, I've been saying this for the longest time. I did not think that was a good deal. I thought they should have won for more of a shutdown defenseman versus Tyson Barrie. Not a shot at Tyson at all. I think he's a fantastic player, but I think just given the situation the Leafs have been in when it comes to their offensive production, but lack of production on the defensive front, I didn't think Tyson was the best acquisition they could have done, especially for Kyle Dubas' case. So be very interesting to see what the future holds for this Toronto team, but don't worry. Things are going to continue to get better. This offense is great. Get some help on that defense. Get some more help for your guy, Freddie Anderson, who looked very strong in this series, and good things will ultimately happen going forward. But Columbus Blue Jackets, let me know in the comments below, how hyped are you? What a great qualifying round series, and are you looking forward to playing against Tampa, or are you a little worried knowing that how the series went last year and that Tampa is definitely going to come in guns blazing against you guys, I'm sure. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below, regardless of who you're a fan of. I would love to hear it. And get ready, guys. I will be doing another video today on the draft lottery. I cannot wait for that. 6 p.m. Eastern time, with so many teams that really aren't deserving of getting Lafreniere, could very well get Lafreniere. I can't wait to discuss it with you guys. I'm not sure if I'm going to record myself live while it's happening and then post it, because I obviously can't show myself live, because you need at least 1,000 subscribers to do that on YouTube. But regardless of how I set it up, I'm going to have my reaction to it. I'm so hyped for it. My team is in it, in the New York Rangers, so I can't wait to see what happens. But thank you all again, guys. Make sure to check out my previous videos if you haven't. I'll have them right down here below for you, and especially with the qualifying round eliminations. If you like this video, you'll like the others. But thank you all again, guys. Hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this kind of hockey content, like I said, and I'll be back later today.